I want to welcome you to Banyan Tree Women's Collective and let you know who we are. We're a 501c3. We're a nonprofit that believes in wellness, choice, and access for everyone. It shouldn't be determined by how much money is your bank account or where you live at. You should be able to have access and choice. And so I want to commend you for showing up tonight. It's a Wednesday night. You could be doing anything, but you're here to learn from Patty. Many of you have probably taken classes with Patty, and you know what a wealth of knowledge. And so we're going to continue on this series that she has created for Banyan. And it's all around different detoxing of different systems. So we're going to pass it off to her. She'll go through her whole class. You're more than welcome to ask questions, or if you want to hold that question till the end, we will have Q&A. Yeah, the class is being recorded. However, you're not being recorded. The class is being recorded and only the speaker is being recorded. So if you want to put your camera on so Patty feels like she can see her class, that's great. Yeah, see, she's got thumbs up. Monday. Is it Wednesday or Monday? Oh, it is Monday. And if I said Wednesday, I apologize. Okay. If you want to have your camera on, you're not being recorded. It's simply the speaker that's being recorded, and teachers really appreciate seeing other humans. So in this whole Zoom world that we're in right now, it's really nice to see our students as we're teaching them. And I'm going to add Patty in here. Here we go. Miss Patty, adding you.
All right. Thank you, Mel.
Thank you.
Okay. And so like Mel said, welcome everybody. And you know, I do truly appreciate seeing your faces, even if you have a mouthful of food or you are playing with your dog. If you feel compelled, please turn on your video. It just helps me get more engaged with you as the audience. So with that, I will share my screen and dive right in. Okay. Let me put this on present mode. All right, and I'm gonna also try to monitor the chat box as well. All right, so welcome everyone. This is part 2 of my Detoxifying Herbs for Health series. So last, I should say in January, I taught part 1, which was all about supporting your lungs. And I'm just gonna go ahead and let some folks in. So this is part 2. We are going to be focusing on the kidneys, and we are technically still in the winter season, although I think for many of us, you know, particularly those in the Bay Area who are experiencing a lot of sunshine, it might feel like we are transitioning into spring, but technically we are still in the winter season. And in many traditional systems of medicine, the kidneys are what are the organ of the winter season. So I think that the timing of this class, that was very much intended to talk about the kidneys as part 2 of this class or this series. All right, so what we're going to cover today, I'm going to introduce myself for those of you who haven't taken a class with me. And maybe if folks feel inclined, if in the chat box, or if you could do like a little hand raise, if you've taken part 1 of my class, just so I know who has attended, that would be wonderful. So we are going to go through detoxification, just a quick review of what I covered last time. We're going to talk about the urinary system with an emphasis on the kidneys. So the kidneys are one of the major organs of the urinary system, but I want to give an introduction to that system as a whole. Then some herbal and lifestyle support recommendations and strategies. I'm going to share some additional offerings that I have through the Banyan Tree Women's Collective as well as on my own, and we're going to wrap up with Q&A. And just a bit of housekeeping. This, as Mel mentioned, this class is being recorded. So I'm going to share a link to the YouTube channel at the end. And I believe that a follow-up email with my information will also be included. There is a recipe for one of the herbal remedies that I'll be making. So I will post a link in this class. And I believe Mel can also distribute that link to folks who may have trouble grabbing the link from this set of slides. So if you need help with that, just reach out in the chat box. Okay, so let's dive in. My name is Patty Liu. Hi, nice to meet whoever I haven't met before. I actually see Vivian there on my screen. Nice to see you, Vivian. And the link for part 1, Elizabeth, is actually, the recording is on the YouTube channel. So you just have to head over to the YouTube channel. And if you don't have the link for that, just stay with me. I'm going to share the link as we proceed in the class. All right, so I am a certified clinical herbalist, a holistic beauty coach, and a skincare formulator based in Oakland and Santa Cruz, California. I currently live in Capitola, which is beautiful seaside town in Santa Cruz County. And I truly love helping women amplify their natural beauty, helping them look and feel their best. So my whole purpose, my passion in life is centered around holistic beauty. Some folks have asked, what is my background? So I'm adding in this slide here today for the Banyan folks, just to give you a bit of understanding of what my background is. I have a very strong background in biomedical research. Did cancer research at UCSF, also studied molecular and biochemical nutrition, looking at the effects of diet and lifestyle on chronic diseases, have co-authored a number of research papers in peer-reviewed scientific journals, then hopped over to the corporate world to Kaiser Permanente in Oakland, where I researched different digital health programs to help the employee population prevent chronic diseases, specifically type 2 diabetes, and then decided the corporate life was just not for me. So I began a 3-year training program in clinical herbalism, completed well over 1,000 hours, and received an honors distinction at the Berkeley Herbal Center. So in addition to teaching these herbalism and holistic beauty classes, I also run a skincare brand called Free Flow Botanicals, where I make plant-based skincare products and also offer beauty tools like wasa. So if you're interested in learning more about my products, please head to freeflowbotanicals.com. All right, so detoxification. It looks like some folks have participated. Vivian, I remember you were part of the first session, and some folks have not yet. So I'm going to go over this because I think it's really important to set a foundation before we move on to detoxification specifically for the kidneys. Thank you. And Melissa, I believe, just ordered one of my facial oils. Thank you very much. All right, so detoxification, what is it? Why does it matter? And how can we benefit from it? And when I refer to detoxification, this is really sort of the science, the industry, the natural viewpoint, the standard for detoxification, which is essentially removing or mitigating the toxic effects of a substance or changing its properties so it can become less toxic or eliminated from the body. But essentially, from a holistic health perspective, it's all about bringing the body back into a state of homeostasis or balance. So really, that's key. And why do we need to detoxify? So I'm sure many of you, maybe in the beginning of the year or even recently, have been exposed to or introduced to diets, fad diets, juice cleanses. These are trending so much. And I am not here to tell you not to do a juice cleanse or participate in a fad diet, but I'm here to introduce an alternative, something that is more natural and easier on your body because you are then relying on your body's own natural detoxification. So I'm here to help you understand how you can enhance your own body's functions. Okay, so why do we want to detoxify? Toxicity, it's something that we're exposed to in modern day life, plastics, chemicals, even living in an urban environment. And over time, that tends to place a toxic burden on our bodies. So what happens when our bodies gets overloaded with toxic exposure to toxicity? Well, here are the common signs of toxic buildup, and they can manifest in the form of physical, emotional, or cognitive/behavioral symptoms. And here is a non-exhaustive list. I think many of you may have seen this list from me before. And if any of these pertain to you, please give me a big yes in the chat box, or feel free to just share it out loud, a big yes. So definitely yes, yes, yes on my part. Many of these I can relate to. All right, so I'm here today to help you understand through this series how you can try to alleviate these symptoms through supporting your body's natural functions. Okay, so let's jump in. When you detoxify correctly, meaning you follow protocols that are specific to your body's needs based on your health history, your dietary preferences, your health, your daily health habits, your lifestyle habits, etc. The benefits of detoxification are wide, right? So overall, strengthen immunity, helps you with improved nutrient absorption, increase physical, mental, emotional energy, improve quality of your hair, skin, and nails, and just generally better overall health, right? So when you are starting out with detoxification, meaning you are doing something essentially different than what you have been doing, right? Because chances are, if you're not feeling great, if you've experienced any of the symptoms I've shared earlier, chances are something is out of balance, right? So you need to do some fine tuning, some tweaking to get things into balance. And sometimes initially, you may experience some side effects like headaches, stomach aches, nausea, fatigue, and that can or cannot most likely be a normal part of the initial effects of detoxification. So your body is adjusting and getting back to a state of homeostasis. So how do we begin with natural detoxification? As I mentioned, as a holistic health practitioner, as a holistic beauty coach, I like to take a holistic approach, meaning tending to the body, mind, and the spirit. We want to focus on cleansing our bodies naturally so that we can then rebalance more easily. As I mentioned, detoxification protocols vary by person depending on your diet and lifestyle, and also depending on your levels of toxicity. This could very well be a result of where you are living geographically too, in terms of whether you are exposed to higher or lower levels of pollution or environmental noise, which also can be a form of toxicity. So we want to start by supporting our major organs of detoxification. What are those? These are major organs. I'm not going to go through them all, but we talked about the lungs in January as part one of our series. Today, we are going to focus on the kidneys and do a deep dive. And then in the next two remaining series, we're going to cover the gut, which includes the liver and the colon. And then the fourth and final part of the series is the largest organ of our body and my favorite organ personally, the skin. All right, so urinary kidney health. Let's talk about this. So what is the urinary system? The urinary system is one of the major systems of excreting waste. So it's one of the major body systems of elimination. And its major functions are to aid in disposal of waste, as well as maintaining water or fluid balance. So it is of all the systems that can help eliminate waste from the body, only the urinary system is able to fine-tune levels of water and electrolytes in our body to the degree that is required for homeostasis or balance of bodily fluids. The urinary system is also responsible for filtering the blood, so removing waste products from the blood, and also producing, storing, and eliminating urine along with metabolic waste. So these are three key functions of the urinary system, which consists of our 2 kidneys, which will be the focus of this class, 2 ureters, which are tubes that are about a foot long or 12 inches long that help to eliminate urine that the kidneys produce, and the bladder, which is a collapsible bag of a muscular collapsible bag. So it can expand and contract based on how much urine it's containing. So think of it as a storage facility for urine. And the urinary bladder has 3 openings, 2 up top that connects to the ureters, and 1 on the bottom that connects to the urethra, right? Which is basically the final channel of output for urine, right? How we excrete urine. So it's a very fine-tuned system. These organs are super important, but it really starts with the kidney. So that's why I decided to really focus on the kidneys for this class. And really fun fact, the urethra in females is part of the urinary system. And in males, it's actually part of another system, which is the reproductive system, because the urethra in males is also the pathway for semen. So it overlaps and spans 2 body systems in males. I like to just sprinkle in some fun facts, so in case anyone's falling asleep on me here. All right, and super important because everything in our body works like an orchestra, right? So everything works in concert with one another. And so it's really important to note that the kidneys are highly connected to other body systems. So for example, if your kidneys are not able to filter out waste properly, that could end up influencing your cardiovascular system. Great, Shannon, thank you. Wide awake over here, I need this. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. Similarly, the musculoskeletal system, right? Your muscles and your bones can be affected by the health of your kidneys. So if your kidneys are not functioning properly, this can impact calcium absorption from the bones, right? So there's so many intricate connections between your urinary system and other major body systems. So that I just want you to be aware, and that's really the whole picture, right, of holistic health, right? Seeing how things are connected. All right, so let's hone in on the kidneys. What are they? They are a pair of about fist-sized organs. So they are about the size of your fist that sit right below your ribs towards the back, right? So all of you, if you can, just go ahead, try to locate the area below your ribs and to put your hands into a fist and try to feel for your kidneys and just give them a nice massage. Give them some love. Can we give our kidneys some love? They do so much for us. So they sit below the ribs, and each kidney has approximately 1 million to 1.5 million nephrons. And what are nephrons? Nephrons are these little tiny functional units that help to process the blood that contains nitrogen-rich compounds, right? So meat, for example. And here's another fun fact. We actually have about twice the amount of nephrons that we actually use, because our ancestors, right, when they didn't have access to a fridge where they could just pull out a steak that they bought at Whole Foods, when the time came and they were able to hunt and kill a large animal, they needed to be able to gorge and feed on as much meat as possible. So they needed a large number of these functional units or nephrons to be able to process all that meat and the nitrogen containing meat and the nitrogen compounds. So really cool. The nephrons also filter blood, about half a cup of blood per minute. And some of the key functions of the kidneys, I mean, there's so many functions, but in order to distill it in this 1 hour class, I have just compacted it into these main functions. The kidneys produce erythropoietin, which is a protein that is used to make red blood cells. That is produced in the cortex right here. Hopefully you can see my mouse cursor. That is in the outer layer of the kidney. Then we've got the production of urine. The production of urine, which means first the kidneys filter the blood. The kidneys allow for the reabsorption of nutrients back into the blood. And finally, the kidneys will dump the urine into the ureters where it's stored in our bladder. And then finally, you're released through the urethra. Make sense so far? Hopefully this is clear as mud, right? So if anything, the key I want you to take away, the key point to take away for today is the kidney's key function is to produce urine. And to produce urine and to secrete urine is a major detoxification pathway. So peeing is good, my friends. We want to have good, healthy amounts of urine. We want to pee, at a good frequency, and that will depend on your diet and your lifestyle, right? How much water you drink, how much you exercise, etc. Okay, so how do we support the kidneys holistically? As I mentioned, the kidneys, and as part of the urinary system, is the only body system that is able to fine-tune the levels of water and electrolytes in our bodies to the degree that is required for homeostasis. So another key takeaway from this class with the kidneys and supporting kidney health, it's all about balance. The kidneys are primarily responsible for maintaining balance of salt. So making sure that, we are properly balancing our levels of salt, and it has a direct impact on blood pressure as it pertains to salt. It influences the secretion rate of a variety of hormones, including ADH, which is anti-diuretic hormone. You don't need to remember that, it's a super long name, but just keep in mind that kidneys can impact many processes, the secretion of various hormones, and also increase the rate of reabsorption of different salts and nutrients in the body. The kidneys are also responsible for maintaining balance with acid base. So many of you may have heard, okay, well, generally with a diet, it's helpful to consume more alkali foods, right? How many of you have heard of that? Like you generally want to avoid acidic foods, which are, heavily processed foods that are, tend to be red meat. So, overconsumption of processed foods and red meat tends to increase the acidity or the acidic environment in our bodies. And then so the kidneys play a role in that, right? Because the kidneys are really helping to balance the kidneys are really helping to balance the levels of nitrogen, right? As it helps to process meat that we take in. And then finally, electrolytes. So electrolytes, sodium, potassium, and this is going to be really cool because this is going to be in direct connection to herbs that I will introduce to you today that are chock full of electrolytes. So one thing that is really important to support kidney health from a holistic perspective is to promote detoxification. So how can we do that? Well, purified water. And, none of this is rocket science. This is all very simple, but it's these simple habits that we take on day to day that help us promote optimal health and well-being. So we want to make sure we are consuming enough purified water. That means on average, about half of your body weight. So your body weight in pounds, you divide that by half, and that is the number of fluid ounces that you typically should be drinking per day. So if you are 140 pounds, for example, you typically want to be drinking around 70 fluid ounces or more of purified water a day. And that could obviously depend on your lifestyle habits, whether or not you're a coffee drinker, right? So if you're a coffee drinker, you might want to increase your water consumption because coffee is actually a very potent diuretic, which I'm going to get to in just a moment. So your habits, if you exercise a lot, if you sweat a lot, if you go to a sauna, I just started going to a sauna at my gym and I've been sweating a lot more than usual. So I need to increase my water intake. And then an important note I want to make is, I work with a number of clients who are chronically dehydrated. And I asked them, how much water did you get in today? And they're like, oh, Patty, don't worry, I got in half the amount, of my body weight as you suggested. And then I'll ask him, well, when do you drink that water? And then they'll say, oh, I drank about like 90% of it right before I went to bed. And that, right? So what's wrong with that, right? So what's wrong with that is you are overloading your kidneys when you guzzle water, right? So the idea is drink at a consistent rate, right? So you drink throughout the day. Don't, try not to just guzzle unless you are so thirsty that you need to just gulp down water, but generally drink consistently throughout the day, right? You don't want to flood your kidneys. You want your kidneys to be supported by water, but not guzzling the water. I see some questions. I'm going to go ahead and answer them. Okay. Let's see. So Mallory, does that include herbal teas? That is such a great question. I'm going to get to your question in just a moment when I cover diuretic herbs. Dory, what's the difference between purified? From my perspective, purified water is filtered water. Does anyone think otherwise? So filtered water, maybe filtered water, there could be degrees of filtration, right? You could use something as simple as what's the I'm blanking, but does anyone know that Brita, the Brita pitcher, right? The Brita is your very basic water filtration system, but it doesn't filter as much as reverse osmosis or other types of filters. So that could technically be filtered but not necessarily be purified. So that is a great question. I did not know we could drink purified water. I'm not really sure I understand that comment. So Sana, I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name. So Sana asked, how many glasses of water, please explain, per day? So a typical glass is about 8 ounces, right? So if you are let's say I'm making this up, if you are about 128-pound woman, then you would want to be drinking about 64 fluid ounces, which would be about 8 glasses of water per day. So that is just the average amount of consumption. So, typical glass, you can always measure it out with a measuring cup. You can just measure it out and then just approximately. Wonderful, Dora, you have reverse osmosis. Okay, wonderful. Thank you for clarifying, Mel. Yes, purify water, few added steps. Wonderful. Okay. All right. So let's move on. right? So we want to make sure that our water is at least filtered, right? So ideally, you avoid tap water if you can, although San Francisco and the Bay Area does happen to have a very good source of tap water. But I was in Los Angeles recently. I could not drink the tap water there. I just got nauseous drinking it. So let's not get hung up on purified versus filtered, but clean sources of water. And Vanessa, I am going to get to your question about teas. Okay, so diuretic herbs. Let's break down what diuretic means. So diuretic herbs specifically help support kidney function by inducing urination, right? So diuretic herbs by nature, and this is not always the case, but in terms of dandelion leaf and nettle leaf, which you see I have here on the screen, these tend to be more drying herbs. So diuretic herbs have a tendency to pull out water from the tissues, right? So it doesn't only have a really beneficial effect on the kidneys, helping to pull out water, right, out of the kidneys and helping to promote urination. Diuretic herbs can also have a drying effect on surrounding tissues. So it could be helpful if you have, edema, right? For example, if you have edema or if you have inflammation in the joints where there's excess fluid that you're looking to drain out. So consuming diuretic herbs can be helpful. So back to the question about, are herbal teas appropriate? That there is no simple answer to that, unfortunately, but I will say that if you consume herbs that are diuretic in nature, I would not count that as part of your daily water consumption, because the diuretic herbs, like coffee, right? Coffee is extremely diuretic. Coffee will actually drain your body of water and fluids, right? So you want to make sure, I fully encourage you to drink herbal teas. I love herbal teas, but just be mindful of which herbs you're consuming. So these herbs, for example, tend to have a more diuretic effect, and you want to be sure to be drinking a lot of purified or filtered water alongside that. I hope that makes sense. What else do I want to say about this? So yeah, I don't think there are any other questions. And then fruit, Vanessa. So, there's some fruits like watermelon, off the top of my head, that are very high in water content. So if it's the summertime and you want to be consuming some watermelon, that is a wonderful option, right? That also has slightly diuretic properties, but because I tend to align with the seasons, right? And I associate watermelon with a summer fruit, right? As a summer fruit, I tend to avoid watermelon at this time. That's me personally. And I teach a lot of these kinds of theories and topics in my seasonal holistic beauty classes. Okay, so let's transition to herbal remedies. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick demo, and today we are going to create an herbal infusion that is high in vitamins, minerals, and nutrients. And herbal infusions are basically a large amount. It's basically like a really potent tea. So it's a large amount of herb that is brewed for a longer period of time. And I'm going to show you exactly how much herb and how long. And if you have your phone with you, you can go ahead and scan this QR code for my recipe for making an herbal infusion. And I'm going to walk you through the recipe as well. So the one thing about supporting your kidneys is that, herbs can be taken in a variety of ways. They can be taken as a tincture, an extract, a tea, an infusion, like so many different ways, right? They can be mixed with honey or vinegar. With the kidneys, the preferred delivery system of herbal remedies tends to be in liquid form. And that actually makes sense, right? Based on what we talked about earlier in this class, the kidneys regulate water, the kidneys regulate the balance of liquids. So, and the kidneys produce urine. So it would make sense that the kidneys prefer to get nutrients through herbal infusions in the form of liquids, right? So not only herbal infusions, but you can also consider bone broth, right? So bone broth is a really nice source of nutrients and minerals that your kidneys and, your gut will appreciate. So this is why herbal infusions, they're so simple, yet they're so effective they're so effective as a way of delivery. So for the kidneys to support them. All right, so, and Vanessa, I will get to your question at the end of the class. If you have a particular fruit in mind, please type that in the chat box. I was thinking high content water fruit, but if you have a specific fruit in mind, please let me know. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen so I can do my quick demo. Okay, I've got my light on. Let's see. Okay, so for this demonstration, hopefully you can all see my little station here. We are gonna make, as I mentioned, a mineral-rich herbal infusion. So that basically requires about a 1/4 cup. If you're just starting out with herbal infusions and you have not done one before, I recommend starting out on the low end, and then you can work your way up. Susan Weed, who is an herbalist, she's been around for a while. She likes to use a cup of a mineral-rich herb for her infusions. That is what she refers to as a super infusion. So I'm gonna do 1/2 cup, and it's basically a 1/2 cup of a mineral-rich herb. In this case, I've got nettle leaf. Nettle leaf is just so rich in minerals and nutrients. It's high in vitamin C, it's high in chlorophyll, it's chock full of potassium. And one of the things that I do want to mention about the real true benefits of these mineral-rich herbs is that unlike coffee, which tends to deplete your body of potassium, which can throw off your electrolyte balance, which can often leave you feeling dehydrated or just thirsty, these mineral-rich herbs will help to replenish your body of potassium. So these are wonderful options to help support your kidneys without preventing the loss of much needed potassium or electrolytes in your body. So with that said, I've got a nice jar of nettle leaf here. It's got a nice, deep, rich green color. This is also a very wonderful spring tonic herb because it helps to cleanse the blood. Another one of its action is that it's an alterative, so it helps to clear out the body, right? Helps to cleanse the blood. And it can also be used as a wonderful preventative herb for seasonal allergies, right? If you have mild seasonal allergies, this is something you can start taking around now or closer to springtime. So what we're gonna do is you wanna take a clean glass jar. Here I've got a 32 fluid ounce mason jar. I think someone asked how many glasses is that? This is, I believe, 2 cups, right? Or no, 2 cups is a pint. So this is about 4 cups. And this is 32 fluid ounces. And I am going to take 1/2 cup of herb. I've got my little canning funnel here. And I'm just gonna measure out, and it doesn't have to be exact. You can just eyeball it. So I've got about 1/2 cup of my nettle leaf. Okay, so I've got 1/2 cup of my herb, again, you can start out with a 1/4 cup of herb, or you can work your way up to 1 cup. At this point, I'm using a cup of herb whenever I make a herbal infusion. And you're going to add about 32 ounces. In this case, because I'm using a 32-ounce glass jar, I'm going to pour in 32 ounces of hot water that I just boiled. Okay. So now you've got this nice mixture here. You can see it's kind of pale green, right? A little pale green. And you're going to cap it. And you're going to let this sit at room temperature. Or in other words, you're going to let it steep for 4 to 10 hours. So what I like to do is right before I go to sleep at night, you know, around 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, I will prepare this super easy, as you just saw, and I will leave it on my countertop. In the morning, I then, I've got one that I prepared earlier this morning. In the morning, I will take my steeped herbal infusion and strain it. Okay, so you can see here, this is how it looks, right? The one I just prepared. And look how dark this color is. It looks black. It looks black on the screen, but if you hold it up to light, it's actually this beautiful rich green color, right? That is the chlorophyll. It's also got, you know, rich in protein and calcium, potassium. It's just so nutritive that not only your kidneys will appreciate this, but your whole body. I'm not a coffee drinker. I do need caffeine, so I rely on matcha green tea, but this is a really nice alternative for me. If I want 0 caffeine and I want a bit of a boost in energy, I will just prepare a 32-ounce jar of my nettle leaf infusion, and I will just strain this. So you just take a regular strainer, you strain out the herb, and I will just drink the rest of it throughout the day. Some folks may not be able to get through the whole thing in one day. So if you have any extra, you can always store it in the refrigerator up to 48 hours. You might be able to get away with 72 hours, but if after that, you really do not want to be consuming it, because it's probably gone bad, at least for consumption. So in that case, you can water your plants with it. Yeah, exactly. Mel says compost, give it back to the earth. So yeah, when I had a garden, I would actually just, you know, toss this into the compost. And then you can even, you know, if it's been, you know, over 48, 72 hours, and you don't want to dump the liquid in the sink, you can water your plants with it, right? Giving back to the earth. So I highly encourage you to give that a shot. It's just such a simple, wonderful way. This is just an important, you know, herbal remedy for any herbalist toolkit. Okay, so let me just continue. Let me just finish up, and then at the end of class, I will go back and see if there's any other questions. All right, so I want to share some upcoming classes that I'm teaching with Banyan Tree. I'm teaching detoxifying herbs for gut health, detoxifying herbs for glowing skin. This is still part of the 4-part series, so please take a note of the dates. I'm also teaching summer holistic beauty practices in June. That will be really exciting. So talking about foods that support you, like watermelon, like cucumber, from a holistic beauty perspective. And there are just so many other amazing teachers. Mel teaches movement classes. There are so many great nutrition experts, wellness experts that are instructors with Banyan Tree. So check it out. You can get all the information on our classes and register at banyanwomen.org/events. Okay, so that's where you can get that information. And then Separately, through Free Flow Botanicals, my skincare brand, I'm going to be offering a free community class in April called Spring Holistic Beauty Ritual. So it's similar to these classes, but it's going to be more of an emphasis on rituals and understanding the energetics of the season and how you can stay in balance using herbs, foods, and lifestyle practices. And we will also touch upon skincare. So please stay tuned, stay connected with me on Instagram. I'm going to share my handle in a moment. Details will be coming soon. I'm still in the process of planning it. So, so just stay tuned, and I promise you, you will, if you have enjoyed this class and my teachings, you will really enjoy this Spring Holistic Beauty Rituals class, which I offer for free to the community. Additional resources, I offer blog posts which cover, holistic health recipes and skincare, just, facial massage technique, a lot of things pertaining to holistic health and beauty. You can check that out there. And also my Instagram is here. And I'm also available for free beauty and skincare consultations. So if you want to talk to me personally, if you have a health or skin concern, you can always schedule a free consult. You can use the scanner on your phone for the QR code, or you can reach out to me on Instagram or shoot me an email. So after this class, as a reminder, please check your inbox. The lovely folks at Banyan Tree have put together an email takeaway with my contact information. And also I encourage you to explore Banyan Tree Women Collective YouTube channel, where not only my class has been recorded and will be uploaded, but all the recordings of the classes that have been taught through Banyan Tree from the other amazing instructors are on there. So please check it out. If you, again, don't have a QR code, just hop onto YouTube and type in Banyan Tree Women's Collective, and that should show up. Okay, so thank you so much for attending today. My Instagram is here, my website is here, and also my email. So please reach out if you have any specific questions or you would like to connect. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you in the future, and I will wrap it up and turn it back to Mel if she has any announcements. And then I'm happy to stay on for until the end of the class to answer any questions.
Yes, I think you do have some questions in here. And yes, absolutely, everyone. Patty actually mapped out her entire year with us. So we'll be getting all those classes up. So not, and excuse me, because I'm cooking dinner and multitasking. But not every class is on the YouTube, but many of them are. So please make sure that you check that out. And then we do have so many different things coming down the pipeline. I really want to put out there, besides Patty's continuing of the detoxification. We're going to have anything from a knife skills class, which will be a 3-part series, which will really teach you how to buy your knives, how to use your knives, how to cut veg, how to cut meat. I think that's an essential skill that a lot of us just don't have access to. We're going to have movement classes. We're going to have sound. I really encourage you to join the Spring Clean, which will be in April. And that's about how to protect yourself in your home from hidden dangers and chemicals that might be lingering in some of the products that you use every day. We'll have giveaways for that. We just have a lot happening coming down the line. If any of you took the Reiki 1 level class, or if any of you have Reiki 1 level and you're certified and you're looking for level 2, we're going to be teaching level 2. The teacher will be doing certifications, and level 3. So that's another great thing as well. Let me see, we've got some information. Patty's slide deck. She has a thank you email coming out with takeaways, which will be essential takeaways. So not the slide deck, but you're more than welcome to email her questions. And this class will go up, so you're able to review the class again on YouTube. Asking for your opinion. Wonder if you. So Vanessa says, I was just asking for your opinion. I was wondering, for those who don't enjoy drinking plain glasses of water, if some of the water consumption can be fulfilled with fruit. like tropical fruits, pineapple, banana, guava, papaya, mango, or if you have any particular fruits in mind.
So that's a great question, Vanessa. I will say that these fruits, they are delicious. I love all of them. They are not particularly super high in water content. And I would say a general rule of thumb is not to completely replace your daily recommended water intake with fruits. You can supplement, right? Oh, like these fruits are amazing. They're chock full of nutrients, but in just purely from supporting the kidneys and supporting detoxification, we want to consume plenty of purified water or filtered water.
What about spa water? Because that's something that I love, is just dropping the fruit in overnight.
Yes,
and the essence.
absolutely.
I
Yes.
still eat the fruit, but
No,
it
it's
helps me.
beautiful. Yes, yes, that's a great, really great point. So yeah, I love, just you can infuse your water with fruit to make it tastier, because I get it. Some people just find plain water super boring. So you can put blueberries or cut up some strawberries, and it really does give it that subtle fruity flavor. Right, you can put in watermelon into your, spa water. lemon or
Structured
lime
water, right? Where
exactly.
you add some chia seeds, and like I love chia, mint, cucumber with a little bit of strawberry. Put it in my jar, set it overnight, and then not only am I consuming the chia, which is nice and filling, but I'm consuming more water.
Exactly. Yeah. And with the chia, you get a good amount of protein in there too, plant-based protein.
And then we have a question. There was a question about anything besides nettle. And I know I jumped in and was like, I love a skull cap infusion for stress and anxiety.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Or
So
cap
Mel,
and pills
so
together.
Mel, you'll do like a super infusion of skull cap. Nice.
Yeah.
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 So skull cap is wonderful. I don't think it is a diuretic, but is another wonderful way to incorporate herbs, right? In this case, skull cap is a nervine, which supports the nervous system. Hence, it can help to alleviate anxiety. So purely from a diuretic standpoint, dandelion leaf is wonderful. Horsetail or equisetum is wonderful, although the taste for me is kind of like a little too much, a little too bitter. But dandelion leaf, nettle, my go-tos are oat straw, dandelion leaf, and nettle leaf, as well as red clover. So you can even mix and match, right? Red clover has a wonderful alterative property. It helps to really cleanse the blood and get things moving if you want to detox, right? Red clover has also an affinity for the reproductive system, so it can really help women too.
Yeah. I actually love red clover, and I love
Yeah.
raspberry. Oh yeah.
Great for skin too.
Somebody asked about places to purchase. I love purchasing from Star West Botanicals. That's online. If you're local, at least on this side of the bay, I've shopped at Scarlet Sage for years. I know there's lots of places in Oakland.
Yep. So yeah, in Oakland, my favorite shops are Five Flavors Herbs.
Oh yeah, Five Flavors.
And I can't remember the name of it, but it's on Shattuck. There's 2 locations on Shattuck, and I'm sorry, I'm blanking. But they have herbs. And then in San Francisco, Rainbow Grocery. Sometimes Whole Foods has bulk herbs. You can try there. In Santa Cruz, I get mine locally at Staff of Life, but you can always go online. Like Mel said, Star West Botanicals is a great option. I also love Pacific Botanicals. I mean, the quality of their herbs are just amazing if you're looking for fresh herbs, but it can be a commitment, because I think they only sell by the pound.
Yeah.
So get together with friends, share a pound of herbs, and that could be a nice investment.
Yeah, that's why I also love going to Scarlet, is because you can really just get what you need. So if during the
Exactly.
season, I can go and
Yeah.
know what I'm going to be making and get just enough. A great question here. Are these herbs all dried, or can you use fresh leaves? I know I'm not talking about diuretics, but in my front yard, I got lots of things I go out and chop fresh. So I think you can do either or.
Hmm.
I love working with fresh nettles.
Hmm.
It can be a little sticky situation, but
Hmm.
overall they're fantastic. So are you suggesting either or as an option?
Yeah, fresh herbs will generally have more water content, so you're not getting them as potent as you would with dried herbs, which I don't know if that would impact the super infusion quality, but you can never go wrong with fresh herbs, especially for a tea or an infusion. The potency is just something where I don't know whether or not, you would reach that type of potency given the same volume you're using between fresh or dried.
Correct. Fantastic. All right. I think did we cover everybody's questions? If not, you can jump in or unmute yourself, or any other questions. So lots of great questions, lots of great conversation.
Hi, good evening. This is Mallory.
Hi, Mallory.
Hi, ladies. So I wasn't aware that you had other classes until I read kind of like synopsis of this class. So where would we go to sign up for the other classes you're offering?
Banyanwomen.org. That's
Mhm.
our website. And you can go either to the events tab or the front page. You scroll down, because I really like the calendar view, and just scroll through and look at everything. Now we are putting up, right now we have about 60 different classes that are on the pipeline to get up for a good part of the year. Oh, Patty's doing it for us right there. Banyanwomen.org. She did the /events, so that's the events tab.
Mhm.
And that way you can scroll through this way, or if you'll click on the home tab, Patty. When you go to straight up banyanwomen.org, scroll down. This is what I use all the time. Scroll down, events right there.
I wasn't even aware of this
Yeah.
feature.
This is much easier for my brain.
Yeah.
I always use this. And so if you can go to April for me. And why don't you click on the 9th there? So then you click on a date and it takes you to the events tab, gives you kind of a short and sweet, because if you're like, I don't know what this is, it's going to give you some good information here. And then you'll click to register for the class. So classes are free, but we are a nonprofit. So number one, if you have the ability to donate and you want to see this work continue, please do so by just going to donate on our page. But other than that, we have everybody register for many reasons, because we do have in-person classes as well. But this helps us as a nonprofit keep tabs on who's in, how many people we're serving. It allows you to be able to receive any kind of takeaway information and to stay in contact.
Awesome. And so, thank you.
Yeah, and at the end of the month, our program person, our marketing person, she will send out a short and sweet email of like what's happening next month, and lumps it all in, so you can be like boop 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 boop, I'm going to do this, do that, do this. Pretty seamless. But thank you for asking that. Does anybody else have any other questions? All right.
Look at all these amazing classes. Just such a great variety, right? So support your health and well-being. So please take advantage.
Yeah, lots of great stuff coming. We're really excited. And if you're local, lots of really cool stuff happening locally. So you can be in with community, some community events on a farm. Again, we did a lovely community event last year on a farm. We're doing another one on a different farm. So lots of stuff coming down the pipeline. We don't send emails just to send them. So if we send an email, take a moment to look at it. It's usually important stuff or helpful stuff. And then yes, okay. And then besides that, make sure you sign up for Patty's next classes. Please take care of yourself. You should have already received your thank you email, I believe. If tomorrow you're like, I still don't have my thank you email with my takeaways, you can email info@banyanwomen.org and we'll get it over there to you. This class will be put up probably in the next couple of days. There's only 2 of us on staff, so give us a moment. There's a question that says, please answer regarding the fruit. Thank you. Regarding the fruit, can boiled and then cooled water suffice if you don't have a Brita?
You know, my grandma used to do that. She lived in Taiwan, and it definitely killed a lot of germs. But I think, yes, if that is your only means, then and depending on where you live, then you can definitely consider that as an option. If anything, it will kill a lot of germs and bacteria, you know, especially if you don't have a clean water source through your tap.
Yeah, and you can, I forget what the website is, but you can Google it where you can get the report for your water, which is really good to have because there is such an issue with so many of the prescription medicines showing up in the water systems. You can do a regular check. I think it's smart if you're not, if you don't have a fully purified system in your house or a system that you can cleanse, to at least check. You know, my house is fully purified from beginning to end, but I still check because I'm curious what's going on in the water system. And then use your voice to advocate, because there's a lot of different movements about clean water in every single city. So, you know, stay on top of it. Use your voice. Your voice matters. It's important.
Yep. And I just want to add one thing that I think will be worth mentioning, since so many folks have been curious about clean water sources, is that you can always pick up like a gallon glass jug, right? You can pick up a couple gallon glass jugs, take it to a grocery store. Many grocery stores have water filtration stations. I think it's like 30 cents a gallon, and you can have a couple gallons to last you, and, you know, in terms of drinking or cooking. So that is always an option. I did that when I lived in El Cerrito and I didn't have a clean water source.
Yep,
So
I did that too for years. And it's more, I know it seems like, oh, glass jars, and then take them, and you have to get in a habit of doing it. But once you do, and you got your place to go, it's very simple, like going to buy toilet paper. It's like you just do it. And then you're not contributing to waste by always having different plastic bottles from bringing home bulk. And it's really efficient, and the water tastes good too.
exactly.
The water always tastes really good. So that's another choice. Okay, everyone. Thank you for sticking around for the questions. We'll see you in class soon. Take care. Stay healthy. Thank you, Patty, for everything.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good evening, everyone, or morning, wherever you are.
Wherever you're at.
Bye.
Bye.